joined with Congressman Darren Soto. And Congressman Soto, you have done so much from day one for these families. Just to stay on the school theme, I don't think there's a school in Orange or Osceola County that hasn't been touched in some way by what happened in Puerto Rico. Even if it's just one student or one teacher, or even those students and teachers who had family back on the island. It just seems to me that every school I went to was impacted in some way in the last 7 months.
You know, in Orange County, over 5,000 students. In Osceola, over 3,000. Think about all the families that represents as well. I want to thank our teachers and our administrators in Central Florida for really stepping up. And we have a great way to get teachers from Puerto Rico who want a temporary teaching certificate, so they've helped with the acclimation. But back to the power of music, there's a couple great programs to have these kids have some rehabilitation, some normalcy, and these after-school programs are just critical as well.
It is critical, and what I have seen and what I have witnessed is very touching, that those students have been warmly accepted, and there haven't been what would appear to be any outwardly negative issues. Central Florida needs to be applauded. This is a day of new beginnings, but also a day of congratulations, because those students have come in and their children have done a nice job of welcoming them, I believe.
Well, with over 1 million of us in the state, Puerto Ricans are no stranger to Florida, so we welcomed additional family members, I'd like to think, to the Central Florida family. And to think about just after Hurricane Irma had struck our state and we were just recovering, how our community came together to help the island, just heartwarming. And obviously today, still with much struggle in Puerto Rico, we're celebrating what positive things have happened and how our community is coming together.
Darren, you have talked so much from the start about the importance of respecting this experience, respecting what happened in Puerto Rico, just as we would if it would have happened in Florida or as it did in Texas, right?
These are Americans, and I think that's the thing that one of the positives that came out of it is a lot of Americans didn't realize that. It was over almost 50% of the people didn't know. Now it's only 25%. The federal government's put $15 billion down there, but with $90 billion in damages, there's still a lot to go. And of course, Florida stepped up and will be drawing down funds to help out our evacuee community as well in education and affordable housing.
You're in Washington. You're a freshman congressman running for re-election. What can be done in Washington to help the crisis? It's critical that we get some affordable housing to help not just these people, but here in Central Florida. This just shined a light on it even brighter.
So we all know Central Florida already had an affordable housing problem before Hurricane Maria. We had a 10% bump in HUD funding, including a 40% bump in project, which you could draw down through local government. So more funding is there, and I've talked to our local officials about drawing that down as well as the state funds.
Very good. So as you watch today, you have been in Puerto Rico since the storm hit. What needs to happen there from Washington's standpoint? Have those people gotten the money quick enough, or does more need to come?
So I got the pleasure of going there 3 times since we had the hurricane, and there is additional funding that states got relative to their damages that Puerto Rico has not gotten. And so a lot of us who are of Puerto Rican descent or who have a love for the island continue to fight, including Senator Nelson and Senator Rubio on the federal level, along with us and our local delegation here. But Florida has really stepped up, and our constituents have allowed me the possibility to do that in Washington.
All right. Thank you for being here, Congressman Soto. We're going to leave you now for a quick break.